I'm Saturday hauling for you guys today, and I was lucky enough to get a 20% off coupon for the Friends and Family sale. My local Sephora manager actually gave me one, so big thank you to her for that. So I purchased some more of the Shiseido Cotton Squares. These are my favorite to use with toners. My mom also really likes these, and she ran out, so I just gave her one of my backups, so I stocked up on 2 more. And then another repurchase is the Guerlain Meteorites. I used the shade Too Clair Light. Their holiday ones just dropped on Nordstrom, so I'm going to be ordering those as soon as I'm done filming this video. It's in like a gold tin, but I'm almost at the tail end of my current jar, so I went ahead and I purchased another one of these. I use this as a finishing powder, so when I am done with like all my face makeup, blush, highlight, foundation, all of that stuff, the very last step for that, I take a really fluffy brush and I dip them in here and I buff it all over the face. It just does a really good job of blending everything together, and it has a slight luminosity to it as well. These have just been a staple for me for years. And then if you watch my last Saturday video, I had mentioned that I placed the order on the Marc Jacobs website, and I did that because for one, they were having a 30% off sale, and then 2, that's the only place they sell the shade Introvert in the Highliner Gel Crayon, and I think they only sell Top Secret there as well. They used to have them on Sephora and then they pulled them. And the 2 shades that were sent to me in that first order were really dry. Like, I don't feel like they're going to last very long. So I emailed them, and they didn't indicate, even though I had asked whether or not these were discontinued shades or anything like that. They just went and shipped 2 more out. I still don't know if they're discontinuing the shades because, like I said, they're not available on Sephora, but these 2 shades still are on the Marc Jacobs website. So I'm going to swatch them for you guys anyways. I've been through several of the Introvert shade. I used to get them a ton. I would love to wear this on the waterline, but it's still not as creamy. And then here's Top Secret right here. Still not as creamy as his most recent formulas that he's come out with, like the glitter ones and matte ones, but I'm going to go ahead and use them. Next up, I've got a 3.4 fluid ounce bottle of the Elizabeth and James Bourbon Perfume. This is the big one. If you watch my empties video, I had used up one of the 1.7 ounce versions. I absolutely adore this fragrance. It's like a vanilla bourbon greatness is how I guess I would explain it. But I have to say a big thank you to those of you who let me know on Instagram that this was on sale on Macy's for $55. I was like, oh my gosh. I had hopped on Instagram and had seen the messages and went directly to Macy's, and I couldn't believe that I got this for $55. It's normally like $100+ dollars for the 3.4 ounce of this perfume. So I feel like I really scored. That's like half price for this big bottle. And it's one of my favorite fragrances. So I gotta say big thank you to you guys because I would have never known otherwise. And then I got this little Urban Decay Space Powder Shimmering Powder for face and body. I have got their other glitter powders that are similar to this in a larger compact, so I kind of felt the need to get this one too. I thought the packaging was really cute, and then the bottom has got a little tiny brush in there. This is just a sparkly gold powder. It's a baked formula. There's not a lot of pigmentation to it, but you get a bunch of sparkle. It's just kind of like a baked sparkle type of product that you can dust on your neck or décolleté or anything like that, or on your cheeks if you want. I don't feel like it's as sparkly as the ones that are in the larger ones. And then I also got the Givenchy Prisme Libre limited edition matte finish and enhanced radiance loose powder. This is in the one Satin Blanc number 5. This is the one that they came out with for holiday of this year, and they come out with these like limited edition ones with the pretty covers. I've got several of these. This particular one I haven't seen in any of the versions that I have purchased, both from the regular line. I think I've got 2 that are in the permanent range, and then I've got quite a few that are limited edition ones like this. Is one of my favorites to set foundation with. I like to use it with the Bare Minerals Bare Pro foundation, or the Dr. Jart BB cream is another one. It's just a very, very beautiful powder to set a liquid foundation. So those are the tones. The quadrants in here all appear to be matte shades. Some of the powders in the range do have a shimmer aspect to it, but it's not overpowering. It just has a very slight glow to it. This one's an all matte one, so that's interesting because the only other one I have is the one with like the purple and the green and the white quadrants. That one is a matte powder as well, but I thought this packaging was just pretty. I was so excited to get this next product. It's the Nars Hot Tryst Cheek Palette. This is what the box packaging looks like, which is super cool, but the actual packaging of this particular palette is just stunning. It's a raised texture to it. Like, it's super pretty to look at. Like, just a really stunning packaging from their holiday collection this year. I'm tempted to get one of their eye palettes, but the colors inside just weren't like jumping out to me, so I haven't purchased one yet. I'm hoping that maybe my local Sephora will get one so I can at least swatch them. But this I had to have. I could tell based off of the pictures I seen online that they were going to be that baked jelly type of formula, which I absolutely love. It's a formula that looks just pretty on the skin. So these are a baked jelly texture, much like their dual intensity cheek products that they have done in the past. This one has got 2 highlighters and then 4 blush shades. This one here is a little bit too deep for the top of my cheekbones, but I had used it the other day on kind of the other highlighty points of my face. And I do feel I kind of feel this way a lot about baked jelly type products. You do have to use a little bit stiffer brush to get it to pick up the product, and I do feel like I had to kind of break through the top of like this highlight shade when I had used it, but once I got through it, the product picked up easier. Once through, as you can see, then it picks up. So swatch this baby. Packaging on this is so pretty. So those are the first 3. And this shade here I wore yesterday. It did take some building up, but oftentimes I find that it's easier to build up some blushes than it is to sheer out a super pigmented one, so I don't mind that. And I love the baked jelly texture, and like the dual intensity finish is super pretty. So those are the shades in that guy. And the packaging, I just think it's so beautiful. There's the shade names. And Colourpop did a collaboration with Disney. It's called the Disney Designer Collection. And I purchased 2 lipsticks. The outside box packaging is super cute. I always wish that they would find a way to incorporate this onto the actual packaging, because like who likes to hang on to boxes? But I purchased 2 shades. Both of them are actually a little bit darker in person than they looked online, but I think I can make them work. There are like signatures of like Ariel, Snow White, Jasmine, Cinderella on the outside packaging, which is really cute. So this first one is called Cinderella, and it is a mauve cool tone, kind of purpley pink color, showing up very true in the viewfinder. So that one is Cinderella. So this next one is called Ariel, and it's a really warm terracotta nude kind of shade. I just wish both of them were just a hair lighter. They look lighter online than they are in person. So that one's Cinderella and that one is Ariel. And then I had to have the eyeshadow palette. This, they did put the characters on the actual packaging of the palette. I think it is so cute. I have worn this a few times. Colourpop's eyeshadow formula, for as cheap as they are, is really, really good. I have gotten along with Colourpop eyeshadows for the most part since they started doing like the pressed formula. I get along with them really well. Some of them can be a little bit powdery and stuff like that, but they work. They're buildable and they're blendable on the eye. So this whole top row? These 4 are matte. These 3 right here are matte, and then Abu is matte. This one's got a little bit of a satin or a little sparkle to it, and then everything else has got shimmer in it. These 2 are those matte kind of formula with the infused shimmers in it though, these 2 dark ones. Like when I used the shade Beast, it's got a little bit of sparkles in it, and I used it through the crease. The sparkles didn't really show up as like a shimmer or anything, so I kind of consider those more like matte eyeshadows. So let's swatch them. Such a nice little palette. I think it was like 16 bucks. 16 or 18. And these next ones. And these guys. And then these last 3. So that is the Disney Designer Collection. Does it have a name? It's a Princess Thing is the name of the palette. Right there from Colourpop. And then I did order from Sephora the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna Avalanche All Over Metallic Powder Set. The outside back packaging for her holiday collection is absolutely beautiful. There are 7 little pots of pigments, and each one of them is 0.035 ounces inside of each pot, which is, it's a decent amount of product, but if it was pressed, 0.03 would be on the smaller end of the spectrum. Loose, I mean, just like looking in the little jar, I'm like, yeah, it's going to take me a while to use up, especially if I just use them on the eyes. So they come in a box like this, and then there are your little pigment jars. It's like inwards, like the cardboard is cut out around the edges. The packaging and delivery of her stuff is just awesome. So here's the packaging of these. They're just the cutest little jars, and there's a little stopper inside that you can pull out, which makes these really mess friendly. Like, I've used these two that I'm holding on my eyes today. I've got one on the inner portion, and that shiny purple is also one of these pigments. I like them, but consider they were called a metallic eye set. There are some of the shades, both of these ones included, that they don't really, for me at least, they don't look metallic. I haven't tried them wet, but the primer, that Tarte Shape Tape eye primer, is really tacky, so it's almost like putting them on a slightly damp base already. They went on nicely, and I didn't have like any fallout with my brush. Like, the opening's big enough for like a flat shader to be able to tap off the excess and stuff, but I was expecting like some real foiled metallic looking shine, which I can get out of quite a few pressed eyeshadows that come out nowadays. But I'm going to swatch them for you guys, and hopefully you can kind of see the shades. This first one is called Cleopatra, and I do have this one on. Yeah, they're called All Over Metallic Powders, so you can use them all over your face and whatnot. Most of the shades in here are just kind of going to be ones I'll use on the eyes. But I was expecting a little more metallic from these guys. So I've got this one on my inner lid, right there. This next one is the shade February, and it's the purple shade that I also have on my lid. So that is the shade February. This next one is called Raspberry Rave. This is one of the ones that I feel like has got great, like that great metallic pigmentation to it. Right here. This one is a metallic for sure. This next one is called Glacier Gang, and this is the blue one. I originally thought this was a matte pigment almost, but it's a very pretty blue color, but I was just expecting a little bit more shine from that. It is a pretty color though. This next one is called Foxy. This one does have good metallic pigmentation as well. Like a bronze. This one is the shade Ice Cream. It's a gold. Let's try to get some more there. This is another one where I was expecting a little bit more metallicness from it. And then this last one is called Brain Freeze, and it's like a gunmetal color. This one's got a nice metallicness to it. For me, I feel like the weakest ones were this purple. The blue is a beautiful color, but I don't really feel like it's got a ton of metallic to it. And then the, what did I say? This one was called Ice Cream, I think. Those were the weakest in terms of calling them a metallic eyeshadow. As pigments, though, they are a pretty color, but they're supposed to be really, metallic. I don't feel like that doesn't look metallic to me. Even though some of the shades to me don't fit the description of being a metallic eyeshadow, especially with what we have on the market nowadays, I still feel like the colors are really pretty. Like on my eyes, I mean, you guys know the shiny shine that I like to wear on my eyes. It just kind of looks like a shimmer on my lid. I am happy that I got them though, because like, who can resist Fenty Beauty little jars of goodness like this? And then I'd love you guys' feedback on these next products. I did purchase the Kat Von D palettes for holiday. One's the Fetish blush and highlighter palette, and the other one is the Fetish eyeshadow palette. I was going to go ahead and do a separate video on these, swatch and demo type video, but then I kind of wasn't sure. So let me know if that's something that you guys want to see, and if it is, I'll go ahead and do that for you. And then I purchased this Urban Decay Aphrodisiac eyeshadow palette. I purchased this actually a while ago and forgot to haul it. It was like sitting on my desk back there. But this is just a cute little eyeshadow palette from Urban Decay, much like their mini like heat palette that they did, and then their mini basics one. There are 6 eyeshadows in here, and each shade is 0.04 ounces a piece. You've got 3 mattes in here. None of these are light enough for like highlight underneath my brow bone for my skin tone, so I did have to bring in another shade. The mattes in here are okay. They're kind of, the way I feel about Urban Decay mattes is they're a little bit much to work with. For me, I have to watch how much I blend them because they'll just stop blending for me at some point and kind of go a little patchy. So I have to be kind of careful when I'm working with the mattes to get them to be able to work. But I wanted to swatch this for you guys. I just feel like their mattes are really thin in formula, and they're just not very substantial. So those are the first 3. I really like the shimmers in here though. I think they're pretty. But at least you guys can see some swatches. So that is the Urban Decay Aphrodisiac eyeshadow palette right there. And I got this at Ulta. And that's all I have for today's haul. I did purchase the 3 new 6-pan eyeshadow palettes that Pat McGrath just came out with, and 3 of her lipsticks. They came out with them in blue, red, and pink packaging, so I was just lusting hardcore. So those are supposed to be here next week, and I'm super excited. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.